Hello, 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 and welcome to another live ukulele jam with me, Matt Stead, Kanikapila Mondays. Hope you're all keeping well wherever you are in the world, and hope you guys have got some of this spring sunshine. It is absolutely glorious where I am here in the UK. Really, really lovely. So hopefully you've got a bit of that sunshine too. Apparently it's meant to stay nice all week, so that's good. So yeah, fantastic. Hi Fran. Remember to have your live chat switched on, like these lovely people I'm bringing on screen now. So you can join in the community chat and you can ask questions as well. Oh, that's lovely to hear, Tim. That's a lovely, lovely thing to say, which is really kind. Thanks, Harry. Missing you. Missing you already, mate. Hope you're doing well. Ah, oh, good stuff. Gloomy rainy day in Maryland. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Thanks, Karen. That's super kind of you to say. Really, really appreciate it, guys. Hi, Pam. And it's lovely and sunny up in Yorkshire. There we go. You've got it up there as well, which is fantastic. So today we're going to be singing songs about giving thanks. It's kind of nice that Harry's here in a way, because when I did the ukulele cruise, I had a moment where I sat out on the balcony with Sharon and we had a nice glass of wine after hours. And I don't know how to put it in words really, but I just felt so incredibly thankful and lucky to be able to do what I do. I always wanted to work in music. Wanted to be a pop star when I was younger, but that was never happening. I tried my best. But I'm so kind of thankful to be able to be a music teacher. I absolutely love it. I love our little instrument. I love all you guys. I love creating the contents with you as well. Oh, thanks, Matthew. That's lovely. That's lovely to hear. So basically, tonight, all of the songs are about giving thanks, and it's a thanks from me to you. Wherever you are, thank you for taking part in Kanikapila. Thanks for all of your support. Thanks to all my members, and thanks to anyone that spread the word or helped me in any little way. So this tonight is for all of you guys. I want to say a big thank you. A couple of admin stuff just to tell you about before we get started. Our next live lesson I think is going to really appeal to lots of you guys. So whenever I'm doing Kanikapila, afterwards or around that week, I tend to get people saying, I'd like to know a little bit more about how it works. And of course, I always explain a little bit during Kanikapila, but it's really nice to sometimes dig into actually what is happening with these chord progressions. How do they work? What the heck are Nashville numbers? How did they get their name? All that sort of stuff and how it works and playing by ear. So what I've done is I've created a live workshop, which I'm doing next Wednesday at 3:30, and it's going to be all about how Kanikapila works and what Nashville numbers are in detail. If you've been doing Kanikapila for years, it's still worth dipping into this, because I'm going to talk all sorts about chord personalities and chord swaps and things like that, which I think you guys will find really interesting. So, oh, Sandy, my daughter's online. Hi, Sandy. She's next door. Hang on, if I bang the door, see if she replies. There she is. She's in the room next door. Yeah, what was I saying? So if you'd like to join us for that, that'll be next Wednesday at 3:30. If you can't join us live or you want to watch it back later, that's absolutely fine. You can watch it back anytime. And all of these are archived, all the live lessons on my website down here. For some reason, I've snuck over and got in the way of it. There we go. Put myself in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner, but I can put Matt in the corner. So mattsteadukulele.com. Come and take part. Oh, and Harry says he's missing Sandy's smiles. Thanks, mate. I love it. I love it. So that's one more thing to let you know about is I've got a new Beatles lesson up. I know it's taken me forever and ever. But I finally got round to recording a new one. So I think we're up to 9 Beatles lessons now in total on the Beatles course, Beatles with Ukulele. Last one's She's Leaving Home, one of my favourite songs off Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. So that's up there if you want to have a look. Now I'm back from the cruise and everything. I've got a little gap before my next event. I'll keep these coming a bit thicker and faster. So there'll be another Beatles lesson before you know it. And then finally, thank you to Harry for doing this for me. It's super kind of him. You know, we had a countdown for the cruise. We've got a countdown to the awesome ukulele adventure, which is really, really exciting. So some of you will know that we're going to be going out to Spain in May, in 59 days' time exactly. And me and a lovely guy called Matt Parkin, we're going to be teaching you how to play ukulele in the Spanish sunshine. Beautiful food, lovely location, lots of fun. Just go to my website and click on events if you'd like to learn more. But you're more than welcome to come along. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Oh, it's snowing where Susan is. Susan, remind me where you are. Wow, snowing. Goodness gracious. Wow. Couldn't be more different. And of course, we've got our cruise for next year all lined up. So details are on my website. Again, in the events page, and you can get in touch with Donna and Harry, who's here often, more often than not, with any questions at all regarding the cruise. I cannot wait. The last one was one of the best weeks of my life. So let's crack on with some Kanikapila. So I'll just go over kind of some of the basics of how it works. I know most of you guys know this stuff already, but basically the idea is having the chord sheets like this rather than having the chords above the music is it teaches you a few things. First of all, about playing in time, which is really, really important in terms of our playing. Secondly, knowing what chord's going to come up next. This is a really nice visual way of learning what chords fit together in which order. And then thirdly, that will then allow you to play by ear if you practice enough, which is a really, really good thing, really, really good thing to do. Oh yeah, don't forget our summer retreat as well. I think we might have a spare ticket coming up for that. If anyone's interested and they haven't got a ticket, get in touch. We've got some amazing tutors this year. It's going to be absolutely incredible. So let's have a look at this one, for example. Now, this one's kind of interesting. This is Dido's Thank You from 1999. And she originally wrote this on one of her albums, but it was famously covered by Eminem. He took the chorus part and he turned it into the chorus of his song Stan, and that led her on to loads and loads of success. Dido was known before then, but that really kind of propelled her. What's really kind of fascinating about this one is it has a really unusual structure. For a start, it's difficult to tell whether it's in the key of E minor or G. Remember that every major key, such as G major, has a minor, a relative minor, which has all the same notes and chords. So in effect, E minor, the key of E minor, has all the same chords and notes as the key of G major. And if you ever want to work that out on your hand, you just count up to 6 for the relative minor. So G, A, B, C, D, E minor is the relative minor of G. The difference is which chord functions as what. And if you look at the start of this one, it starts with an E minor, right? Which is just your bog standard going up the stairs. 1, 2, 3. So you could think of the verses as in E minor, which would make E minor the 1 chord, the home chord. But the choruses start with G. And the choruses go between the 1 chord in the key of G, G, and the C chord. So that makes us think that we're in the key of G. So sometimes songs can be a little bit ambiguous like that. I've decided to say that this one's in the key of G because I think it makes sense with the chords that come up. So we number those chords: G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. Every key has a certain amount of sharps and flats. F has 1, the 7th, and F sharp. And the first chord will be a major, second chord minor, A minor, third chord minor, B minor, fourth chord major, C, fifth chord major, D, sixth chord minor, E, and then the 7th chord are diminished, but we haven't got any of those in this song, so don't worry about that. And each of those chords has its own personality. Remember, G kind of, the 1 chord makes you feel rested and at home. And if we look at these chords here, which are used for both the chorus, the instrumental, and the bridge, that chord there, our G major, makes us feel rested. I just want to thank you for giving me the best day of my life. Notice when I hit a G chord at the end there, it feels rested. So that's our one chord. It's the chord that things resolve to. Then what happens in the chorus is we go to the 4 chord. And the 4 chord is one of the most used chords in folk music. Quite often folk music just goes between the 1 chord and a 4 chord. And I often call the 4 chord the change chord. It creates a bit of movement and change without too much tension. Normally that would be your bog standard C, but instead we've got a C major 7, which has this lovely B note in it, which just gives it a touch more richness. The brilliant thing about that when you're doing this chorus is you can just change between the G and a C major 7th like this, just keeping your second finger on that 2nd fret for the C major 7. Okay. Now we're going to do a really simple strum. If you want, you can just do down strums on this. Down, 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 down. I would think of that as walk, 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 walk. Or if you want to do what I'm doing, I'm going to do a walk, 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 running, walk, 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 running, walk, 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 running. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up. Okay, so if we wanted to have a go at the first 3 lines of the chorus, really easy. We have the 1 chord G, 1, 2, and then C major 7 and G. Really nice. Now remember, I'm going to explain this in a lot more detail next Wednesday in our live lesson. But remember I said that every chord has a personality. Well, the 3 chord in any song is the saddest sounding chord. Doesn't matter what key you're in, whenever you hit that 3 chord in a key of G, that's B minor, G, A, B minor. It's a really sad sounding chord. And you'll notice it when I hit it here at the end. Let me just get the lyrics up so I can sing it. Just wanna thank you. Give me the best day of my life. And even though the lyrics are quite upbeat, it's the best day of my life, there's that melancholy of that 3 chord, which is really beautiful. Now to do this one, what we're going to do is we're going to bar the whole of the 2nd fret. Get your finger as close to the right hand metal fret as possible. It's not over here where you'll get buzzing. Over here where it's nice and clear. Keep that wrist as straight as you possibly can. Try not to bend it like this, or I can't do it the other way, but you get the idea, or like that, I guess. Try and keep it as relatively straight as possible. Decent amount of fingertip showing over the top of this chord. That means that you're using the strongest part of your finger, which is down here, and it also means you can apply pressure to the bottom 3 frets. If you do it like this, you'll kind of end up with a curved finger, which is uncomfortable. And then finally, with your ring finger, reach up and over to the 4th fret of the G string. This finger looks like it's doing something, it's not, it's just sat there, kind of just ready to come down, okay? So that's our B minor. If you super struggle with that one, what you can do is just bar the bottom 3 strings of the 2nd fret and play what in effect is a G major 7 if you really struggle. But see if you can get that full B minor, it's a great one to practice. And then the A minor that follows just adds another touch of melancholy because it's another minor chord. Okay, like that. So let's have a go at that chorus then. Oh, nice. No worries, Rita. Hope the teaching's going well. Hi, Victor. Good to see you as well over there in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I've got another friend in Ann Arbor, believe it or not, Victor. A lovely lady called Andaya, who's a school teacher out there. So, yeah, cool. Okay, so let's have a look then. Let's have a try that chorus nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 chord, that's G. 4 chords, C major 7. And again to the C major 7. We do it one more time. go to the B minor. This is a tough bit. And then just pull back to A minor. Really lovely. Let's try that with the words over the top so you can have a go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just want to thank you for giving me the best day of my life. And just to be with you is having the best day of my life. Fantastic. Now that's most of the song, believe it or not, because it's the chorus plus the instrumental plus the bridge. It's a really unusual thing, the structure of this song, which I'll show you in just a little bit. Hi Martin, hope you're doing well out there in sunny California. Very, very nice. So let's have a look at the verse next then. So this one, we could think about it as being in the relative minor of E minor, but just think about it as still being in the key of G. So we've got the 6th chord. That's an unusual chord to start on when we're in major key. This is why it's kind of ambiguous, this one, but still really cool, right? So we start with this E minor here, and then we go to the C major 7, our 4 chord again. Just take the 2 fingers off. Okay, so that's the 6th chord to the 4 chord. Then we have the tension of the 5 chord. Now notice, because we're in the key of G, or you can think about E minor, that D chord creates a sense of tension. Have a listen. If I keep it there, it's like a cliffhanger, right? It needs to go back to the 1 chord, which it feels resolved to. And Dido's done something clever here by then putting another quick little D at the end. It creates another little bit of tension, which makes you want to go to the next line. So it's like this kind of like a, I don't want to say vicious circle because it's nice, but it's like a nice circle. It makes you want to keep going round and round. Thanks, Andrea. You too. Thank you for the music. Thanks, guys. Okay, so let's put that together. Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Martin. Thank you. And of course, the other thing I just wanted to mention that's really cool about these Nashville numbers in terms of counting, if we just had the chords written up above the words, if you didn't know how the words scanned, how the rhythm went, you've got no way of playing this in time unless you know the song. But even if we don't know the song, you can play along straight away, because you just count along. So in the chorus, 1, 2, 3, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's brilliant. That's part of the reason I love doing things this way. So first we've got E minor, that's for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same on C major 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same on D. And then the next 2 chords, because we've got half a measure each, we're going to do for 2 beats each. All right, so that measure we have 2 beats each. Cheers, Harry. Take care, mate. It's been absolutely lovely to see you again. So hopefully I'll see your smiling face again soon. So 4 beats, 4 beats, 4 beats, and then 2 beats each of that last one. So that will sound like this. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, D, and we go again. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then at the end, it's really nice and easy because we just go between an E minor, C major 7, and we do that twice. Let's try one of those verses. Come in with me after 4. Oh, hang on, let me get my words ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. My tea's gone cold, I'm wondering why. Got out of bed at all. The morning rain clouds up my window, and I can't see it all. And even if I could, it'll all be great. Got your picture on my wall. It reminds me that it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Okay. Now, the brilliant thing is you'll notice that repetition, right? The top 3 lines are all the same. So try playing that with me one more time and be really brave. See if you can close your eyes and not look at the sheets. Just remember E minor, C major 7, D, G, D. And we just keep doing that again and again. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, 4. My tea's gone cold, I'm wondering why. Got out of bed at all. The morning rain clouds up my window, and I can't see it all. Even if I could, it'll all be brave. Got your picture on my wall. It reminds me that it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Yeah, fantastic. Well done, guys. Finally, really easy peasy lemon squeezy, we've got this intro, which is also the interlude. It's basically last line of the verse, isn't it? Just notice, if we're being really pedantic, that the last chord is a normal C rather than a C major 7. C major 7 kind of sounds all right anyway, but we go E minor, C major 7, E minor, and then normal C. Okay, all right, and that's it. E minor, C major 7, E minor, and that's C. And that acts as just a little interlude after the first verse, and also the intro, which is kind of fascinating. Now, what I think makes this song really interesting, and this is kind of, I find really fascinating. A lot of songs, the verses might be in the relative minor, and the choruses are in the major. That's kind of what's happening here with E minor and G. But this one's weird because it has 2 verses at the start, which are kind of like E minor-y, if you like. And then all of the rest of the song is this played over and over again. First of all as a chorus, then as an instrumental, then as a bridge, and then 2 more choruses. So her vocals are doing a similar thing to the verses, but because we're using these major chords, everything feels a little bit upbeat, which is really kind of interesting. So the song kind of goes from sounding quite sad to sounding quite upbeat, which I think is really fascinating. So basically, we just do these verses twice, and then the whole of the rest of the song is just these chords over and over again. Now, you can commit those to memory. You've got this, right? You can do this. You can do this. So give it your best bet and see if you can try and do this without looking at the sheet too much. You can always have it there and just glance up. I'll have it on screen anyway. Now, one more thing, if you wanted to have a go at a little solo over the instrumental of this one, we're in the key of G. So we can use the G major scale, and we tend to use the major pentatonic. Just takes 2 notes out. It makes it a little bit easier, and it means you're less likely to go wrong. And it's not a cheat, it's what a lot of guitarists use, and almost all the lyrics in this one, the vocal melody is in the pentatonic scale as well. We've got these brilliant new reference sheets. Thanks, Karen. She's been working really hard on these, and aren't they beautiful? So much information contained in here. So here we have our types of pentatonic scale. I need to go one more. There we go. So we can do our E minor pentatonic or our G major pentatonic. They're literally the same notes. If you have a look at that, G, A, B, D, and E. Same here. It's just that the E minor starts from E, the G starts from G. But the brilliant thing about it is, if you think about it as 2 different scales, you've got this shape, which covers 4 frets here, which is quite a decent amount for the ukulele. And then you've got this shape, which starts way up at the 7th fret, and that covers this part. So that gives you notes that you can play all the way from here to about here. It's just amazing. It fills up a lot of the fretboard. So the E minor pentatonic, let me show you that one first, because this is the one I use mostly over this song. We're going to go from the 4th fret of the C string, that's our E. Then we're going to go up to the 7th fret here for our G. We're going to come back here to the 5th fret A, 7th fret B, 5th fret D, and 7th fret E. Can you notice that's a really nice shape? A big gap, and then all your dots, small gap, big gap, and then your dots. Now the G major scale is almost like an inverse of that. It starts with a small gap, 7 to 9, that's G to A. Then B to D, your dots again, look, only this time the dots are stretched further apart. Isn't that cool? So G, A, B, D, that's 7, 10, and E, G, that's 7, 10 again. And if you combine those together, you could do a really nice solo. I'll give you an example. I think I did a backing track of this earlier. Someone was asking me recently how I do these backing tracks, and I literally just record them on something called voice memos on my iPhone or my iPad. It's really, really easy to do, and I just record myself playing the chords, and then you can play over the top. So if I use some of those notes, you'll see some of the patterns hopefully as I play. See if you can spot them. Oh, hang on. I just need to put it through my little speaker, otherwise it's going to be too quiet. Let me just switch that on. Sorry, guys. There we go. That should work. Okay, try that again now. It should be a bit louder. Yeah. So this is my E minor, G major, I just realised that backing track's probably too loud then, wasn't it? But hopefully you get the idea. So have a little noodle when we do the instrumental, and you can use those notes. You've only got to remember a few of them, and you'll be fine. If you don't want to solo, just strum along with me, and you can solo in your head, you can whistle, you can just imagine what anyone else is doing. Just have fun. So as I say, we do 2 verses, and then all of the rest of the song, chorus, instrumental, bridge, and 2 choruses, are all the same chords, this bit over and over. All right? So if you get stuck on this bit, just hang on, because you know once we get to this bit, it's this bit over and over. Should we give it a go? Let's give it our best shot. I'll come up here so you can see roughly what I'm doing. Yeah, there we go. Let me just get lyrics up on my iPad. If it looks like I'm glancing into the middle of nowhere, it's just because I've got the lyrics up on my iPad. Okay, I'm just going to move that along a bit. It's a bit far away. There we go. Okay, here we go. So come in with that intro after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now our verse. My tea's gone cold, I'm wondering why I'm out of bed at all. The morning rain clouds up my window, and I can't see it all. And even if I could, it'll all be great. Got the picture on my wall. It reminds me that it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Intro part again. Another verse. I drank too much last night, got bills to pay. My head just feels in pain. Miss the bus and there'll be hell today. I'm late for work again, and even if I'm there, they'll all imply that I might not last the day. Then you call me and it's not so bad, it's not so bad. And I just wanna thank you for giving me the best day of my life. And just to be with you is having the best day of my life. Take an instrumental if you like, or strum the chorus with me. Same chords over and over now. Second section. So G, C major 7, A minor. Push the door, I'm home at last, and I'm soaking through and through. Then you handed me a towel, and all I see is you. Even if my Fantastic. Well done, guys. Let me know how you got on with that. Karen Indrani's on holiday. She's having a few days on the Dutch coast at the moment. I've seen some lovely photos and looks like it's beautifully and sunshiny out there. So yeah, she's just on a little break. But yeah, sure she'll be back at the next one. Now that one, just really interestingly, because you know how I said this song's kind of ambiguous. This bit sounds like it's in G major. This bit sounds like it's in E minor. I was mucking about earlier and I noticed that the final chord could be either as well, which again kind of proves how ambiguous it is. You could hit an E minor at the end and it could still sound right. Have a listen to this. Oh, just to be with you is having the best day of my life. Then E minor. Kind of works, right? Or G at the end. Just wanna be with you is having the best day of my life. Now I went for a G chord at the end, right at the end, just because I thought, remember how I said the song goes from kind of melancholy to feeling much more upbeat in the second half? And so I'm just carrying on that upbeat feel by hitting that G at the end. But it's kind of interesting, isn't it? How it could be thought of as either. So some songs are quite ambiguous like that, particularly when they're using the relative minor. Yay! Well done, Shona! Fantastic, fantastic. How did the rest of you guys get on with that? It's a lovely song, isn't it? Do you remember Stan by Eminem? I think I heard Stan before I ever heard Thank You, but they're both well, I prefer Dido to be honest, but they're both cool. Okay, so let's have a look. And there's probably people swearing at their computers all over the place now because I said that. She became quite untrendy, Dido, over here. I guess she was thought of as a bit middle of the road, MOR, but she had a beautiful voice and some of those songs were really, really lovely. Now let's have a look at something completely different. Another thank you song, because I want to say thank you to you guys. And this one, interestingly, this was due to be released as the Beatles' third single. And the idea was it was thanking all their female fans. And they had a lot of male fans too, of course, the Beatles. But when you think of those early days, you know, the Cavern Club and then going, you know, moving to London, playing at the Palladium and all that, there were a lot of screaming girls, right? So this was their kind of way of saying thanks to their fans, which I think is really lovely. It didn't make it as a single. I think it was mostly John Lennon, but also McCartney decided it was a bit too much of a throwaway song. And you'll kind of hear that when we play it. It's not the most sophisticated sounding of songs. So they actually put this one on the B side of the third single, which was From Me to You. I think it was the third single. So yeah, so that's kind of that's how the song kind of came about. It's a really, really cool song, this one, and it's in the key of D, and we hardly ever do the key of D, which is interesting. Oh, got loads of comments come through. Let me just bring some on the screen before I do this next one. So Fran loved it, brilliant. Rebecca, that was fun, and I got the bar chord by the end. Yay! Fantastic. Quite easy, Martin. Love it. Brilliant. Loopers, his favourite instrument after the uke. Ah, nice, nice. It's good fun messing about with loopers, isn't it? I'm not very good at them, Andre. I need some practice. I'm a bit of a technophobe when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah, I definitely need to practice that. That's it. Cool. There we go. Nice. Thanks, guys. And let's bring back some nice memories for Chris. Oh, thanks, Karen. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, then. So let's have a look at this one. We're in the key of D. Now, remember that every keys have a certain amount of sharps and flats. D major has 2 sharps, and you can see this little diagram in the top left corner. Thank you to Esther, Karen, and to Barbara and Indrani for all their help with the sheets, by the way. Really looking really good. And this the 2 sharps shows that we're in the key of D. So if you ever see that at the start of a piece of music, you know what's going on. So that makes D our 1 chord. Then we have E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and then we would be back to D again. All right, so that's D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp at the end there. Luckily, those sharps don't come up in this song, neither of the sharps are used, so we don't have to worry about that. So we're in the key of D. That makes D the one chord, the one that feels resolved. And then remember in the last song, I said one of the most common chords to come up in any song is the 4 chord, because it creates a bit of change and it's often paired up with the 1 chord. Well, have a look at this. This is exactly what's happening. 1, 4, 1, 4, 1. And then at the end of the line, we have this cheeky little A7 coming in. Now, if we count up from D, D, E, F sharp, G, A, that's the 5 chord. And notice that creates a little bit of tension. If I hang on that, you'll see what I mean. Hear that? It's really interesting. It kind of creates tension, that 5 chord, which is really, really nice. And then that makes you want to go back to the 1 chord at the end. 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. And then the Beatles, to create even more movement, they just have a cheeky little G at the end. Now, each of those chords is 2 beats each. So you're just going to strum up and down. I'm keeping this to a really, really simple strum. I'm doing what, a kind of a faster version almost of what we're doing in the last song. I'm doing walk, running, running, running. That will look and sound like this. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Walk, running, running, running. Walk, running, running, running. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. And that's as simple, it could be as simple as that. You could even just do up and down strums, like so. Cool, huh? So don't feel that you have to do anything complex on this one. And then we count along. I'll stay on close camera. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, A7, 1, 2. So mostly just D and G again. Let's try that together. 2, 3, 4. D and G and D and G and D, A7 and D and G. All right, fantastic. I'm getting all sorts of weird noises coming up today. I don't know if you're hearing them in the background. I'm going to try putting that down. Sorry, guys. And I'm just going to see if I've got any apps open or something. I'm getting these weird, really weird noises coming through. Let me close that. Maybe that will work. Fab. Might be because I have my Chrome open. Okay. So that's the verses. And with the lyrics, that will sound something like this. So you can see how it goes. 2, 3, 4. You've been good to me. You made me glad when I was blue. Then we do it again. And eternally, I'll always be in love with you. Isn't that cool? I just think this song, I know they said it's throwaway, but it's got like that essence of early Beatles, which I really, really loved. Then the chorus just goes between the 4 and 5 chord. 4 to create a sense of change, 5 to create tension. So we have G, A, which is the 5 chord, D, E, F sharp, G, A. So 4, A, 4, 5. That's it. That's a whole chorus, believe it or not. All I gotta do. How about that for a short and sweet chorus, right? Really cool. Then we're back to another verse. I could tell the world a thing or two about our love. And again. I'm your little girl, only a fool would doubt our love. Another chorus. And all I gotta do is thank you, girl. Thank you, girl. Fantastic. Now I'll do the middle 8 in just a minute, but there's a couple of other little sections which are really, really easy. Anytime you have an interlude, just like we did on the Dido song, an interlude is just like a very short little instrumental gap between sections of songs. It's used as the intro as well. Notice it's literally the chords to the verse to the chorus just reversed. So instead of having 4-5-4-5 G A G A, we have 5-4-5-4 A G A G. So it's really kind of simple. It's like they've just reversed it. And this is the bit where they often sing that they do an O over the top. Oh, 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 oh. I'm trying to ham up my inner John Lennon because he does that weird voice as he sings that, which is quite cool. Bit of Liverpudlian creeping through. So that's mostly it. Now we've got this beautiful middle eight, which I think is really gorgeous. Really simple common chords. We got the 6 chord followed by the 1 chord and then the 5 chord. This is a common thing to do in pop music. The 6 chord introduces some melancholy. But the other thing about the 6 chord, it's only 1 note different from the 1 chord. So it leads beautifully into it. That's why those chords are often paired together. We've got that B minor again, just like we did in the Dido song. 2nd fret and then 4th finger up here. Then you could either do a D like this, keeping your bar, but I prefer to just go back to bog standard D. And then a tension of the 5 chord, okay? Thank you, girl, for loving me the way that you do. And then we have the tension, because we have almost the same thing higher up. We've got the E minor, which is higher than B minor. That's the kind of love. To A. And then we go to the 1 chord to resolve it. A classic 2-5-1. That's the kind of love. Sorry, I'm getting the chords wrong. That's the kind of love that is too good to be true. Notice we got 4 of those. Let's try that bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you, girl, for loving me the way that you do, way that you do. That's the kind of love that is too good to be true. And that's it. That's everything you need to know for this one. Isn't that lovely? That middle 8. It's often referred to as a bridge in a lot of songs. When you go verse, chorus, then you get a new part. It's often called the bridge. The Beatles really popularised calling it the middle 8. And if you think about it, it makes sense. How many measures are there? 8. Where is it in the song? Right in the middle. So it's kind of a way of just kind of breaking things up. And the Beatles use middle 8s all the time. It's almost like you get bored of verse, chorus. That middle 8 brings a bit of a change. And they kept that right through, right to the end on many of their songs. So relatively straightforward here. Now you might need both sheets open just so that you can follow through the structure here. So we've got the intro, which is the O bit. Verse, chorus, as you would expect, bridge, and then here it starts getting a little bit messy because we've got chorus, interlude, verse, chorus and outro. So this is the bit here where you just really need to pay attention to see which one you're on. But I'll try and ever so quickly shout it out so you know which section you're on if I can. All right. I think even if you don't get this tonight, this is well worth working on because it's such a cool song. Okay, let's give it a go then from the top. So we'll do that intro first, which is the A, G, and that's where we sing our O's. Join in if you like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, oh, and again. Oh, oh, and a verse. You've been good to me. You made me glad when I was blue. And again. And eternally, I'll always be in love with you. Chorus. And all I gotta do is thank you, girl, first. I could tell the world a thing or two about I'll always be in love with you. And all I gotta do is thank you, girl. Thank you, girl. Oh, 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 oh. And then a D to finish. And if we want to be really Beatlesy, turn it into a seventh. They used to do that on all their early shows. If you ever watch the Beatles finishing a song, I think like Ed Sullivan Show and all that, they almost always ended on a dominant seventh. It's such a Beatlesy thing to do. I reckon we should do that one more time, partly because I got a chord wrong in the bridge, which was really annoying, and I love this song so much. But also, I really want to see if you can memorise that verse. D, G, D, G, D, A7, D and G. So it's mostly D and G. Just remember the A7 comes in the third time. Okay, all right. Oh, Laura, congratulations. Happy wedding anniversary. 41 years today. That's amazing. Love it. So Laura's just going to rewind to the beginning, so you've got all the good stuff to come. Let's try that one more time all the way through then. See how much you could do from memory. Just remember the intro and interludes bits. They're just the chorus reverse. So just think A to G and you should be all right. And see if you can get the chords right in the middle A, unlike me. Let's try that again. Ready? From the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. Well done, everyone. Such a cool song. I love those early Beatles numbers. I just think they're great. I know a lot of people find them kind of quite formulaic, but I think they're absolutely fantastic. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And if you really get into these Nashville numbers tonight, if you're really getting into your Kanikapila, try thinking about doing that in a different key. So I won't go for it the whole thing again now, but say you wanted to do this in a key of C, then C would be the 1 chord, right? And F would be the 4 chord. You could just count up C, D, E, F. So the verses would just be C, F, right? And then the 5 chord, C, D, E, F, G, would be G7. So there you go, just straight away. That's quite a hard song for me to sing in the key of D, but I wanted to do it in the original key. But notice in C, it's that little bit easier. You It's brilliant. You can just start to kind of play songs in any key, which is hopefully, and this is what I really want you to find really empowering. Me too, Pam. It's all about that verse, isn't it? All that movement is really, really cool. And just so much energy. Like, I'd love to play this like on a Rickenbacker, like really crank it up. I think that would be fantastic. Oh, thanks, Leslie. Sometimes I think I was born in the wrong era. I would have loved to have been around at the time of the Beatles. My mum was a massive Beatles fan and had all their records, so I guess I got it through her, which is cool. In fact, I think the first record I ever had technically was after John Lennon passed away. I think I was 2 when he was shot, and Mum bought me a best of, like in in his honour, like a wasn't just Imagine, it was all John Lennon's solo hits. Anyway, I'm rambling. Before we have a look at the next one, which is an absolute belter, if you enjoyed the Beatles one, just remember that my Beatles course is up and running now. So basically, all of the courses on my website are finished, and many of them are either 20 to 30 part courses, many of the lessons an hour. And there's 10 courses on there. There's the beginners, intermediate, and advanced, or next steps, but there's also fingerstyle, jazz and blues. There's all sorts on there, but the Beatles one is in construction, so basically it means I'm adding new lessons to it every fortnight or so. And last week I added a nice version of She's Leaving Home, and this one's all about adding dynamics into your song. So in the lesson, I look at doing muted strums, finger picking, and full strums all within one piece of music to really kind of capture the sound of the original. So that's there ready to check out. Don't forget again that we've got a very special live lesson next week where we're looking at Nashville numbers and digging into how this Kanikapila system works in a lot of detail. When I named this Kanikapila, really it was just kind of taking the spirit, not the whole word, because in Hawaiian words can have many different meanings, but the spirit of Kanikapila, where people get together and play without sheet music, and that's the kind of where the name comes from. My way of doing it is obviously very different from the original Kanikapilas that would have had no music whatsoever, and it would have just been an oral thing. But this workshop's going to teach how I do it in a lot of detail, so well worth tuning in. And if you can't make it, you can watch the rerun whenever you can, all on the website. If you go to mattsteadukulele.com, there's lots of different tabs at the top of my website. So Learn is where all the courses are. Click on Learn and it will come up with all the courses. If you click on Live Lessons, that's where both my Kanikapila and these fortnightly lessons will be found. And both of them have an archive, so you can go back and watch literally hundreds of them. There are literally hundreds and hundreds. So if you kind of interested in a particular thing, you can go back and rewatch that whenever you want. Oh, I forgot to show this earlier, by the way, just for those that are interested. I saw my first butterfly of the year this year, and it was a peacock. In fact, I'm wearing a butterfly t-shirt tonight. I've already done this, so no prizes for who can guess what wing that is, but see if you can put it in the comments anyway. This is a Chris Packham limited edition t-shirt. It's artwork from one of the wings of a famous UK butterfly. See if you can spot it. I just wanted to say that because a couple of people have asked after the cruise why I've got 2 different Facebook accounts and 2 names. I have one that is Matt Stead, and that's all my ukulele stuff. So if you're on Facebook and you want to add me, Matt Stead, that's just ukulele stuff. All my events, all the songs, videos I do. If you want to add me as a friend, it's Matthew Stead. Still 2 T's, Matthew Stead. And that's where I post all my butterflies and pictures of the kids and holidays and things like that. So just so you know. I actually posted video stuff from the cruise on both because it was an amazing cruise and it was both a holiday and work for me. So there we go. Oh, Les is enjoying the Beatles course. That's fantastic. Oh, Fran was 37 when John Lennon was shot. That must make you about 39 now, eh, Fran? It's I was gonna say, Fran. Yeah, that makes more sense. 27. Fran says, don't add 10 years onto your age, Fran. That's no good. Thanks, Andre. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I mean, I was too young to really appreciate it, but it was such a horrible thing, wasn't it? For John Lennon to be shot like that in New York. And yeah, kind of quite life-changing in some ways. Okay, so let's have a look. Oh, by the way, just the other admin stuff. If anyone wants to help out the running costs of Kanikapila, I will always keep these for free. They're not going to ever be behind a paywall or anything. And it takes a lot of work putting together all the songs, creating the song sheets, which I send out in very scrappy form to Esther and Karen, Indrani and Barbara, and then we kind of work on collating them and getting them together. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. If you want to support it and you just want to give me a virtual tip in my jar, if you just go to paypal.me/the Uke Room, that would be amazing. I know a lot of you already support me on the website anyway, which is really, really amazing, and that's more than enough, and thank you for everyone that does. Okay, right, let's have a look at another song. What a Wonderful World. This is a beautiful, beautiful song. As Karen says in her Fascinating Facts, I always read Karen's Fascinating Facts and forget to bring them on screen. I won't bore you just by reading them out because that's not the best use of our time, right? But they're really detailed and really interesting. So you can go back and read some of this stuff. But as Karen said, I noticed What a Wonderful World. And I've heard this said before, which is interesting. It sounds like a song that was written in the 1930s or 40s. It's got that almost classic American songbook, kind of like Cole Porter, you know, George Gershwin, Jerome Kern. It's got that kind of feel to it. But interestingly, it was written in the mid-60s. And in 1967, it was given to Louis Armstrong to record a version of. And interestingly, originally it was thought they were going to give it to what's his name, Tony Bennett, to sing it, and he turned it down. Interestingly, after Louis Armstrong made it massive, the actual song itself, what is his name gone? I just said it. Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett actually did do a cover version of it because he saw how successful it had been. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. It's written by Bob Thiele. I think I'm saying that right. I might be wrong. And George Weiss for Louis Armstrong. And of course, Louis Armstrong made his name on trumpet. It's an amazing trumpet, or I should say cornet player back in the day. But this really gave his career another boost in the 60s, which is interesting. It was also featured on Good Morning Vietnam, which I think was late 80s, wasn't it? With Robin Williams, and that gave it another surge. I remember watching it on the chart show as a kid and thinking, who's this Louis Armstrong guy? It's like, wow, you know, now he's like one of the biggest influences in kind of my love of music and everything. But we're going to do this very differently. We're going to play this Brother Is style, because remember, Brother Is did that beautiful acoustic version with Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And basically, Brother Is Israel Kamaka Viva Ole. Most people know him for Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And the story of the song, I won't bore you because it's quite long. But basically, he recorded some acoustic tracks at 3 o'clock in the morning in a studio in Honolulu after he'd been out on a night on the town. And they ended up being really important recordings of his, because there's White Sandy Beach, the Willie Dan song, plus this one. And this one, this segue of what Somewhere Over the Rainbow and What a Wonderful World, he recorded the acoustic version. It was just shelved. And then he recorded an upbeat, what they call Jawaiian, almost like a reggae feeling version of it on his first album. Then when I came back to Facing Future, which is his most famous album, they sought out the original tapes and they released the acoustic version, and that's the one that everyone fell in love with, which is this one. So we're going to play the chords and we're going to do the original lyrics to this one, because I think on its own it works better with the original lyrics. But we're going to strum it in a really simple Brother Is style. We're not going to get all technical because Brother Is played with a low G, and it's almost impossible to kind of do that on a high G. So we'll do a kind of a nice island strum instead. Oh, nice. Catch It Butterfly by Daniel Gerard. I don't know if I know that. We did a week on butterflies ages and ages ago, but I'll have to look it up. So yeah. Interesting, that melody, Andre, as well. Even though I've been playing ukes for like years and years and years, and I love like all the classical stuff and the jazz stuff, whenever I hear Brother Is singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, it still just gets me there. And it's just such a beautiful song to play and listen to, and just so gentle and lovely. Okay, so let's have a look at how we're going to strum first. We're going to do a really simple island strum on this. This is otherwise known as a calypso strum because it comes from that kind of calypso rhythm. And the rhythm is this. I like to think of it as walk, running and running. Walk, running and running. Walk, running and running. Why do I think of things phonetically like walks and running rather than downs and ups? Well, it doesn't really matter whether you're on a down or an up, as long as you keep that rhythm going. Walk, running and running. Walk, running and running. That's the important thing, most important thing. So don't sweat about whether you're on an up or down. Just keep that rhythm going. Okay. If you are into downs and ups, it's down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Okay. So lovely, gentle island strum. When we do that with the chords, it will sound like this. If I do the intro. Just keep it really nice and light. If you find that strum a little bit tricky to do, what you can do is just a simple down, up, down, up. Sorry. Like so. Just keep it really, really simple, but beautiful kind of island strum there. Oh, that's really interesting. I didn't know that, Shal. That's really cool. By coincidence, Louis Armstrong also recorded his version in the wee hours of the morning, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m, halted twice by freight trains rumbling by the recording studio. I love that. Gosh, when you think about it, in the 1960s, like Louis Armstrong was like one of the most famous voices and players in all of music, and yet, you know, even he had to record in a studio that had to be halted by freight trains. I love that. Esther, if you're watching this now or later, Esther, the cow and frog, she'll appreciate that, because often you have to contend with freight trains, don't you, Esther? So when you're watching back, that made me think of you. Okay, let's have a look then at this verse. So we're in the key of C now, the people's key, which means no sharps and flats to worry about. And if we count up from C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Okay, so C is our one chord. There we go. Yeah, Karen's saying, and that's partially because his producer hated the song and didn't want him to record it at all. It's bizarre, that, isn't it? What? I don't know how anyone could hate this song, but yeah, that is true. Really fascinating. So we start with the one chord, sets us off on our journey. See, I see trees of. Then we go to the three chord. Remember the three chord in any key, C, D, E minor. It's always a minor. And it always has that sad feel to it. And I always found that really fascinating in this song, because even though the lyrics are quite upbeat, I see trees of green, red roses too, I see them bloom for you, me and you, and I think to myself, what wonderful world. It has a touch of melancholy because of the use of the three chord, that sad chord. It's relieved by going up to the four chord. They call that a major lift, going up to the four chord. And then it comes back down to the three chord, then down to the two chord, and then down to the one chord. So it's interesting. If you go from the F, it's 4, 3, 2, 1. You're playing all the natural diatonic chords in a key coming backwards from F, which I think is fascinating as well. Bob Dylan used to do that in his songwriting, which is quite interesting. So let's just do those few chords. I see trees of green, red roses too, I see them bloom for. Now this next bit's kind of fascinating. So this next bit is often called a circle of fifths progression. Now, those of you that have been taking my lessons, you'll know that I talk quite a lot about circle of fifths. It's literally just a circle, and you'll find this in your scales and reference charts, but I'll just bring a big one on screen so everyone can see it. It's literally a circle, and you can think of them as either chords or notes. And when we go clockwise around the circle, we go up 5. So C to G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 5. G to D, G, A, B, C, D. D to A, D, E, F sharp, G, A. You get the idea. It goes up in fifths. The reason it's so useful is that both chords and notes love to resolve down a fourth, or you can think of it as going back to the next fifth and back again and back again. And that's used in loads of music. If I play E7, A7, D7, G7, you'll probably recognise that. It's used a lot in things like 5, if you run into a 5'2" buried, covered in fur, not buried in fur, diamond rings and all those things, I bet your life it isn't her. So it's really common to have chords that go backwards around this wheel in the circle of fifths. And that's exactly what's happening at this section in the song. So I know we're getting quite technical now, but it is technically a jazz song. Let's take a look. This isn't very easy to play off by heart, but it's kind of fascinating to see the structure, I think. So when we reach this part, the E chord, this we're playing it as an E7, is 5 above the A that follows. And that, ignore the A flat for now, the A is 5 above the D, and the D is 5 above the G. So it's a backwards round the circle of fifths progression, E, A, D, G, seen in lots of songs. Now, there's one weird chord, isn't there, that A flat. Now, this is something really complex, and I don't think I'll have time to explain it tonight, and I think everyone will start yawning and go to bed if I do. But it's actually something called a tritone substitution. Again, don't sweat this. You don't need to know its theory, but if you're into your jazz music, that's what's going on. It just means at that point in the progression, we expect a type of D chord, and we do get it eventually, and more often than not that would be played as a D7. But instead of the D7, we've got a chord that's a tritone higher. This is used loads in jazz music. That just means 3 whole steps, or you can think about it as a flatted fifth. And that's why we end up with that A flat chord, a really weird chord, right? Sorry, here. And it's really quite arresting. Now, if you want to play it with a bar, you're going to bar the whole of the 3rd fret now, and then just put this F shape on just here next to it. So 3rd fret and F shape. And in fact, if I move it back, you'll see that it comes from this F shape, F, F sharp, or I could think about it as F, G flat, G, A flat. If it went one higher up, it'd be an A. Okay. So that's the chord shape. If you really struggle, what you can do is just play the bottom 3 strings and just play a G moved up 1. Okay, so that's a G, an A flat. Just be careful not to hit this G, because it'll sound a bit discordant. Okay, or if you can do the full version. Okay, a really tricky chord, but really nice. That's the tritone. Jazz fans, isn't that cool, right? And then at the end we have a 2-5 combination, the most common in jazz. That's a D minor, which leads to a G, and then a C at the start of the verse. All right, so let's have a look at doing that really slowly in slow motion. I'll do a verse. Just follow along with me. I'll call out the chords. 1. I'm going to go below tempo, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. C. E minor. F. E minor. D minor. the tritone. A flat, stay on it, then D minor 7. You can just play D minor if you struggle with that one. And then we're back to C. We do 2 of those. Okay, now that's most of the song because we have lots of those verses. Let's just try that round one more time together with the lyrics. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world to seize and to choose. Then at that point what we do is we go back and do another verse, and then we just have this second ending. So it looks really complex, this bit, but it's basically just a verse. This is the first ending, first verse, second ending, second verse, and then third ending, third verse. So there's different endings each time. The first one's dead easy, just C, and then G. Okay. The next one's quite easy as well. It's just the 2 chord with C to D minor, stay on D minor, and then C. Then the third verse does something really interesting. Again, this is way too complex for Kanikapila. This isn't an ideal one for Kanikapila, but I just love the song so much I wanted to do it. This next one, it starts with C, 1 chord. This is the third end. Then it goes to this chord, B flat 7. It's like an A7 that's been moved up. Now that chord comes up all the time in a lot of blues, a lot of indie music and a lot of rock music. And it's called the 4 of the 4. Now again, don't sweat this. You can just close your eyes for 5 minutes if you don't want to know this. But the 4 of the 4 just means it's a chord 4 above the 4th chord in the key. I'll show you what I mean. So in the key of C, the 4th chord is F, right? C, D, E, F. Okay? And then we think of what chord is 4 above F. So in the key of F, F, G, A, B flat. Okay? So 4 of 4, C, D, E, F, that's our 4. And then 4 above that, F, G, A, B flat. And that's a really common thing to use, the 4 of the 4. It's often written down because we compare it to the key that it started in. It's often written down as the flatted 7th because it means the same thing. In a key of C, the 7 should be B, C, A, B, C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. There's no sharps and flats in the key of C, and if we flatten the B, we get B flat. It's often also called a backdoor chord because notice it's 1 step away from the A that follows. That's why it works. On its own, it would sound really weird, but because it goes to an A7, which is half a step back, it works as well. So sometimes that's called the backdoor chord. It's like you go into the A7 through the back door. All right. So that last verse, when we do it, is going to end with C, B flat, pull back to A7. It's probably one of my favourite bits there. It's the ending of the song. And then we're going to go to D minor 7, but just strum it once. Same with G7. And then we finish on C7. So that's the ending basically. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Notice we're finishing with the major 7 as opposed to a normal C, just like we did. In the first song, it has that C major 7 has that lovely sophisticated sound. Now we're basically there. The bridge is actually one of the easier parts. So the bridge bit, the colours of the rainbow, that bit. We go to the 5 chords, and we often go to a 5 chord in a new section because it creates tension. So we have G, colours of the rainbow, back to C. So pretty in the sky, just get my lyrics. Same again, always on the faces of people going by. And then the minor chords in a key twice. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do? And then here, look what's happening. I find this fascinating. We're coming back, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're coming back through the chords. Now timing, whole measure, 2 Ds, 2 Cs, and then a 5 at the end. But did you see how it went 4, 3, 2, 1? We're coming down through the chords, which is really sweet, a common thing to do. Let's just try one of those bridges all together, and then we'll try the whole song all together. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Colours of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky. They're also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do? They're really saying back to another verse. All right, yeah, you got it. Fantastic. We're not going to worry about a solo on this one because there's no instrumental on this one. So if you wanted to noodle away, you could use the C pentatonic or the A minor pentatonic scales if you want to have a little bit of a noodle whilst I'm doing this. If not, just keep that lovely Brother Is relaxed style and strum going through the whole thing, and we'll give it a go. In terms of structure, this one's really simple. Verse, verse, bridge, verse. It's that simple. So verse 1, that ending. Verse 2, that ending. Verse 3, that ending. And here's the bridge. Let's give it a go, folks. Let's give it a try. Let's bring it slightly more upbeat because we want that nice upbeat Brother Is rhythm. So we'll do it about this speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Intro. Here comes our first verse. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. First ending and another verse. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Second ending. Here comes our bridge. The colours of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky. They're also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. Last verse. I hear babies crying, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than What a wonderful world. Yeah, lovely. It's a beautiful song, isn't it? Just really, really gorgeous. And as Andre says, what a wonderful song. No worries, Pam. You can always catch up tomorrow. Good to see you. Good to see you. Karen was just asking about a reggae strum. There are a couple of ways you can reggae this up. The easiest type of reggae strum to do is just to tap your uke on the on beats and pull up on the off beats. I'll show you what I mean because it's easier to show you rather than playing. So we did this on a ship. It was really nice when we did Three Little Birds. So reggae, really, the strum is on the exact offbeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we need to hit the offbeat. So all you need to do is just tap your uke and strum up. Don't worry about a thing. Or in this case, if we're doing this one, reggae, I see trees, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Cool, huh? So you get an instantaneous, really simple reggae strum, which is a really nice thing to do. Of course, remember when Brother Is did his Hawaiian version, it had guitars and drums and all sorts. So you get a lot of kind of thickness going on, which is really, really nice. Another way to do it, which is a little bit more Brother Is just to put a chuck in the middle of your strum. So actually, yeah, something like that. It's not going to be completely Brother Is because we haven't got that low G, but you can do a down, up, chuck, up, down, up, chuck, up, down, up, chuck, up, down, up, chuck. I see trees of green, red roses too. So that's another way to do it. It's quite tricky that with the chucks, but it does sound really nice and relaxed, doesn't it? And effective, which is really nice. What a wonderful you group. Thanks, Rebecca. Thank you. Thank you. Joe's just saying the harmonics at the end were lovely. Can you share the notes that I used? Yeah, absolutely, Joe. No problem. So what I was doing, I was just playing through, you know how it ends on that C major 7 chord? I was just playing through it as an arpeggio, so that just means a C note, an E note the next highest, G note next highest, and then a B note the next highest. So I was doing a harmonic on the 12th fret C string, 12th fret E, 12th fret G, and then because I'm holding down the 2nd fret, I need to go up 2 frets for this one. And then I like to resolve it, go up 1 higher and play the C. Okay, so you get this nice. Whoops, I'll do it again. And then you can just hit that final one, which is really nice. It's quite tricky to do that because you've got to do one hand harmonics, which is difficult. But I have got a video on that. I think it's in my Next Steps course, if I remember rightly. It's certainly in the fingerstyle course doing that one because in my Sywaltz, there's some one hand harmonics. So it's in the fingerstyle course, Joe, if you wanted to look it up. It's definitely in the Sywaltz one if you want to go into any of the courses. All right, let's do our last song then. So and again, massive thank you to you guys. The reason I'm doing thank you songs this week is to say thank you to you lot for all of your support, because I've been feeling really, really grateful recently. I feel really humbled and honoured to be able to make my living through music, and I couldn't do it without you guys. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. It really, it's a really special way to make a living. I've never been able to do a 9 to 5 job. I only ever stay in a job for like 18 months and then I have to do something else. So it's the first time ukulele, which I've been doing for a while now, but it's the first time that I've finally found something that I can just stick at and enjoy and not going to give it up. So as long as you guys want to, I'm going to be around for the long haul. So stick with me if you can. But thanks again for all your support. Let's have a look at our final song then. This really comes from the heart. Thank you for being a friend, because I consider most of you my friends. So, well, I consider all of you my friends, really, let's be honest. So let's have a look at this one. Really nice and beautiful, simple tune. Some gorgeous chords in the pre-chorus, which I think is really lovely. Thanks, Nigel. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate that. That's lovely. So let's have a look. The verse is easy peasy lemon squeezy. They're just our 1, 4, 5 chords again. We're in the key of C again. You can see at the top there next to the treble clef, no sharps or flats, which means we're in C. And you can see that the 1 chord is the C, which gives it away as well. So we start with just a plain old simple C chord. Now this one, there's a couple of ways you can play it in terms of strumming. You can do that kind of island strum for a nice general thank you for being my friend. Da 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 da. Ba da ba ba da da da. Ba ba da 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 da. Or if you want to really kind of make it a little bit more intense, which is kind of replicating the bouncy rhythm that Andrew Gold does in the original, you can do straight 8s. That just means we strum down quite quickly with our right hand, all down strums. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. This is the way I like to play it. And then if you ever get bored and you want to introduce some up strums, you can thicken it up with some up strums. And remember, I'm really passionate about this when it comes to strum patterns. You don't need to think about downs and ups, just start with downs. And anytime you want to add an up, you haven't got to change the speed of this hand, it's already going up and down to get the downs. Just touch on the way up. You've got it. I reckon, Andre, I reckon you'll recognise it when I sing it. It's the theme to Golden Girls. Remember the sitcom Golden Girls? Let me just get the lyrics up a sec. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down a road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal. I wonder if I could sing that up an octave actually. Yeah. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down a road and back again. That's better. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. It's really cool. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you'd see the biggest gift would be from you, and the card attached would say thank you for being a friend, something like that. Sorry, I'm not very good at singing this one, but you get the idea. I'll talk you through it anyway as we go. So that intro verse part is really simple, just the 1 chord in the key of C, 4 chord for change, F, G for tension, and then we go back to C. Okay. It starts on the word friends, so if you want to come in on the word friends, it'll sound like this. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant. And then you do it again, not ashamed to say, I hope it will always stay this way. My head is off, won't you stand up and take a bow? Now this bit's interesting. If you can leave this out if you want to, but when it goes to the pre-chorus, what Andrew Gold does on the piano in the original is he hits a 5 chord on the 4th beat of this measure. It's really quite tricky. I'll show you what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. See, before I hit that A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you hit the A minor. So if you can do it, oh, thanks, Fran. You too. You too. Sending my love. So if you can hit that G, it sounds really sweet. Then we go to the pre-chorus. The chords are gorgeous in this pre-chorus. I absolutely love it. Thanks, Karen. Thank you. Thank you. We go to the relative minor. Remember, in any key, that's based on the 6th chord. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the key of C, C, D, E, F, G, A minor, right? So that's a really common thing to do. It happened in a song earlier, didn't it? So we go to the A minor, then we go to the 1 chord, but instead of it being a C, we play it as a C7. Why do we do that? Well, the C7 wants to move. C, just, you can play it and just stay there. C7 wants to go to an F because it's 5 above it. Hear that resolution? Amen. You often hear it in church music, right? So that's why it's there. Then we have that E7, really jazzy. And then this next bit, well, I'm running out of time, so I'll just go over the chords rather than too much about the progression. It's a 5, 1, 2, 6. You can think of it like a jazzy 1, 6, 2, 5 inverted, or think about it as 2, 2, 5, 1. If all of that means nothing, don't sweat it. This is how you play it. G minor 7 for 2 beats. C7 for 2 beats. D minor, or if you can, D minor 7 for 2 beats. A minor. And then an easy finish with a 4 and 5 chords, F and G. Okay. I'll play it without the words so I can call out chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you, A minor, C7, F, E7, G minor 7, C, D minor 7, A minor, and F, and G. Yeah, then we go to another chorus, which is exactly the same as a verse. Just keep it going round, all right? Now, that's mostly it. There's a really unusual bridge. I even thought about not putting this bridge in, because this is where in the original it goes all kind of a bit woo, psychedelic, and in the video his hair's blowing and he's got this bright light on him. It's all a bit weird. It uses some really unusual chords for the key of C as well. It's based on the parallel minor. Don't sweat that too much. Thanks, Susan. You take care. I'll see you soon. See you soon. Nice. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Karen. So G minor, just think of it like a kind of like the G minor 7, only we've also got this G note over here. A minor. F minor, this is a tricky one. Think of it like a Hawaiian D7 move back, and then your little finger on here. Okay, and then a C at the end. It's a bit of a weird one, this. So G minor. And when we die and float away into the night, the Milky Way, you'll hear me call as we ascend. I'll say your name then once again. And then we go to another chorus to finish off, which has Karen's favourite bit. If you want to sing along with me, you guys sing, I wanna thank you, as I sing, thank you for being my friend. It'll sound like this. Thank you for... Yeah, I'll try and go high. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I wanna thank you. Thank you for being a friend. So if you want to and you want to sing along, you can sing the I want to thank you, which is really sweet. And then we're all saying thanks to each other, which I think is really, really lovely, isn't it? Let's give it a go then. So I'm rushing it a bit, but I realise time's getting on a little bit and my tum is rumbling. I'm ready for my dinner. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's one of the things, Andre, that I'm always saying. I always say this at the retreat and all my events as well, that the friendship thing is just as important as the music. I really genuinely believe that. I love how music brings people together, but those friendships are enduring. They last forever in some cases. So yeah, really special. Joe's just asking, could we keep our pinky on the C? Yeah, that'd work, Joe. That'd be quite sweet. So when you do the A minor, yeah, you could do it with two fingers like this. So when you hit that C, so when you do G minor, A minor, then you could flip to F minor and C. So in that bridge, apart from the G minor, you could keep a finger on that third fret of the A string the whole time. If it helps, definitely. Yeah, definitely worth it. Good thinking, Joe. Fantastic. All right, let's give it a go. Now, if this all goes horribly wrong and I lose where I am or we're not sure what we're doing or whatnot, just think that the verses and the choruses are C, F, G, C. C, F, G, C. So if you lose it at any point, every time we sing Thank You for Being a Friend, just think C, F, G, C, and you'll be right as rain. Let's give it a go. We're all friends. It doesn't matter if it goes wrong. Okay, let's just roll. I think there's an intro, isn't there? Roll the C chords. Let's just roll the C to get going. That just means keep playing C like this. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just roll a C, guys. And then start counting on the word friends. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. I'm not ashamed to say I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off, won't you stand up and take a bow? Get ready for the pre-chorus. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, well, you would see the biggest gift would be for me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. 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 If it's a car that you lack, I would surely buy you a Cadillac. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for being my friend, everyone. Much, much appreciated. And you're all appreciated. So my love to all of you guys. Thanks for all of your support over the years. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be doing this in 20 years' time if the rest of you are. So stick with me if you can. Yeah, thanks for being there and supporting my work and my teaching and events and Kanikapila and all that stuff. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thanks, Leslie. Thank you, guys. So that's my thank you from me to you. Next week we're going to do clocks because, and an important announcement, US peeps and I think Canada peeps as well, I think your clocks went forward, didn't they, a few weeks ago? Well, we're finally catching up. So UK clocks go forward an hour this coming weekend. So basically, next Kanikapila, if you're in the US, will be an hour earlier. Okay, so just beware of that. What you can do, which is what I always do with these things, because I sometimes join events in Europe, just put it in Google. Just put what is the time now in England, and it will give you the time, and then you can make sure you won't miss us. But yeah, clocks are changing this weekend. So because of that, we thought it would be fun to do a whole Kanikapila about clocks. So all of the songs next week have a clock theme or a time theme. So hopefully you'll enjoy those. And I even got one ahead and started doing another Kanikapila, which we're going to do, which is going to be all about spring, earthiness, and kind of reconnecting with the countryside. So that's been loads of fun. So we're going to have Village Green Preservation Society, and we're going to have a gorgeous song by Johnny Flynn. You might remember couple of years ago, or maybe a year ago, we did one of his songs, the theme from The Detectorists, and everyone loved it so much that they asked me to do it again. So we've done that song a few times. Thanks, guys. And we're going to do another of his songs called The Sun Also Rises, and I think it's one of the most beautiful modern folk songs that I've heard in recent times. We're even going to do a lovely a cappella bit. So yeah, don't worry, Andre, they're in there. I think that's the first song I thought of, Andre. So yeah, don't worry, they'll be there for sure. So come and join me for the next few Kanikapila, and we'll be going straight through. There's one Monday which is a bank holiday around Easter. I can't remember exactly which one it is, so I'll double check that and I'll ask Karen to put it on the Facebook calendar. If you're not aware, because some of you might not be aware of some of the brilliant little bits of work that Karen does around the Facebook groups. If you go to the Uke Students Hangout, where we all play on Facebook, and it's easy to miss, but if you go at the top where it has like photos and things like that, one of them will say files. You might have to scroll across. And there are some really useful guides on how to use the website, how to find music on there. And one of them is a master list of Kanikapilas, which is really, really helpful. So you can check to see what songs were done when over the years. We've done literally hundreds of these. But also there's another one, which is a little calendar. And I think Karen puts it in the featured section as well at the top. And that gives you all of the upcoming events. So the next fortnightly lesson, the next few Kanikapilas, anything special that I'm doing, and anytime we've got a week off like the bank holidays. So we'll get that updated. Karen, if you're still there, I can't remember which Monday it is, but I'll double check and let you know. But other than that, we're going straight through. Oh, there we go. Shona's beat me to it. Thanks, Shona. You're a star. So it's a late Easter this time. So UK bank holidays 21st of April. So that's the one that we'll miss. It's ages away yet, don't worry. But that's the one we won't do. Other than that, we'll be going straight through every single Monday, which is going to be fantastic. And please join me next Wednesday if you can. So that's not this Wednesday coming. It's the Wednesday after. 2nd of April. I made sure it's 2nd and not the 1st. It's not April Fools, don't worry. So this is the one we're gonna be learning all about Kanikapila in a lot more detail and how Nashville numbers work. And then also don't forget we've got our Beatles course going. There's a new song up there. Check it out as well. Karen was just asking if I figured out a challenge winner yet. No, I watched about half the videos this morning, Karen. I always watch every single one all the way through, so it does take me a long time. I meant to do it last week, but it was a really busy week catching up after the cruise, so I haven't quite got round to it. But yeah, I've got an idea who I think the winner's going to be, but I'll announce it by the end of this week. So we'll do that, and I'll pick a new challenge as well for all you Facebook peeps. So sorry I'm a bit behind with that. And Leslie, if you're still there, and who I've forgotten who the other one was, but the badges from last month I completely forgot to send out. I'm so embarrassed, but I'm going to be sending some extra goodies as well, so be patient. But there will be some stuff coming in the post for you guys, and same with everyone else as well. I'm going to do some extra stuff for the next lot of winners, so as well as your badges, it might be one of my CDs or a book or something like that. So yeah, fabulous. All right, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. My bell is growling at me, so it's time for me to go and get a late tea. So, yeah, Leslie, yours was one of them. They're on their way, all right? So they'll be flying across the ocean soon to you. All right, guys, much love, and I will see you next Monday for another Kanikapila. Until then, take care, everyone. You can't.